Everything that you know about credit is a lie. Y'all know the vibe, man. It's your boy D Wall, co-creator of Thinking Gen Wealth, where we give out financial literacy game to everybody. You feel me? And today we gonna get into a three-part series explaining exactly how credit works and how to properly build credit, and a little bit on how to do your own DIY when it comes to credit repair. You feel me? Without further ado, y'all know me. I like to get straight into it. We gonna hop it off the gate. You feel me? So boom. First and foremost, we're going to discuss what exactly is credit. You feel me? A lot of people hear the word credit and don't really understand the full concept of it. So, to break it down in simple terms, credit is essentially your adult report card. You feel me? It measures exactly how you are able to borrow other people's money and then pay them back on time. You feel me? That's all it is. It's literally gauging your adult report card. If you took Jim's money, are you able to pay Jim back on time at the date agreed? You feel what I'm saying? That's all credit gauges. Now, if you don't do that consistently, you probably do not have the best credit. Or if you don't do that frequently enough, you probably don't have the best credit. Or if you do it too much, you probably don't have the best credit. There's a lot of pieces when it comes to credit that a lot of people don't understand, and that's because it's an overly complicated system. I'm gonna keep it a buck. Credit is crazy, and credit is one of the most inequitable financial systems in the world because you could do everything right for 20 years, but let you fuck up one time. You're cooked. You're cooked. Now you got to rebuild, and that's a whole process. You feel what I'm saying? But that's why we're here to break down exactly how you can use credit, but more importantly, build credit correctly so that way you won't have to worry about that. You feel me? So within this series, we're going to break down what credit is, how to build it, how to repair it, but we're gonna go slow. You feel me? A lot of people go full in hour guides on how to do everything credit, and that's just overwhelming. So we're gonna go a step by step, three-part series. Well, hopefully 3 parts. It could be more than that. We shall see. You feel me? But yes, credit is the ability to use other people's money to acquire assets without depleting your own cash, right? So I know Wolf and I we talk a lot about the stock market. A lot of the times when people are investing into the stock market, they're actually using other people's money to do that investing by a thing called damn, I'm blanking on words right now, but it's leverage. You feel what I'm saying? It's margin. People use margin to invest. You feel me? And margin is essentially your brokerage giving you a loan to buy stocks and buy equities. You feel what I'm saying? That's a form of credit right there. That's a form of other people's money. You see what I'm saying? But the big thing of credit that people get a trap into it going in without having an education is people think credit equals extra income. In reality, that's pure cap. That's not it. That's not it at all. Credit is debt if you use it to consume. You feel me? If you're using credit to get the best Benz, that's $60,000 off the lot. It's probably $30,000 a day after you buy it. That's going to be something that's consuming you as a bad debt. You feel me? But on the other hand, if you use credit to leverage, either it be you're investing into assets that you feel are very strong and profitable companies, or if you're using credit to buy your own businesses or buy old businesses that are being passed on from the past generation, that's leverage. If you get into real estate and house hacking and flipping, you're using credit as a leverage to invest. That's not debt. Well, that's not bad debt. That's good debt. Feel what I'm saying? So that's the first thing we need to understand before talking about credit. It's not count as an income, and it's not an emergency fund. You should not be using credit if something happens with your car, something happens with your kid, you gotta do something. No, you should have your emergency fund separately from your credit, and your credit should solely be used as leverage to buy basic necessities, so that way you gain points. But more importantly, to leverage. That is the point of credit. We are not living off credit cards. We're not living above our means. That's what 99% of Americans do, and it's very unfortunate. And that's why you see all the different crazy stats going around where people are upside down on their loans. Delinquencies in the auto loan game is crazy right now. Credit card debts at an all-time high, and it's because no one teaches the basics and understanding of credit. So I will repeat again, credit is not income. Credit falls into two baskets. That's good debt and bad debt. Bad debt is using things that you consume, using credit to get things that make you feel good, going to the club, getting the latest clothes, new cars, etc. Right? Credit as a good debt is good when you're using it to buy assets such as equities. You're buying tools for your business, or you're buying a business, or you get into real estate. That's when you use credit, and that's when it's becoming good debt. But overall, the goal with credit is to prove to the bank that you are disciplined. So that way, as you keep proving that you can handle this type of debt, You can get into the mortgages, the SBA loans. You feel me? The different margin loans you can do with different brokerages depending on your account and your history of credit. You feel me? There's a lot of power in credit, y'all. But we gotta understand the fundamentally responsible way to use it before we even look at that. All right? Boom. Quick banter. Now, a lot of people see things such as Credit Karma, right? If y'all that don't know, Credit Karma is pretty much, I guess, it's a data furnisher. They collect a bunch of data. And a lot of people see things like Credit Karma and they think, no, this is my credit score. No. The first thing we need to understand is the main thing that lenders use to figure out what your score is called FICO, right? So I'm going to show y'all. Let me share my screen real quick. Hold up. Press a few buttons. Bear with me. Boom. I got some stock stuff on here, but we're going to look up FICO, right? Boom. FICO. D-Wall, what is FICO? I got you, right? FICO stands for the Fair Isaac Corporation, and they're actually a stock. And they're actually a really good stock. I'm not going to lie. Let me look it up for y'all. The Fair Isaac Corporation, they're actually one of the strongest defense sector stocks in the game because they have a bulletproof business model. But essentially, they're a data furnisher, and they're the main contributors to what the banks use to figure out if you deserve that credit card or not. You feel what I'm saying? They create a thing called FICO scores, right? And FICO scores consist of this, right? FICO score consists of 35% of payment history. D-Wall, what's payment history? Are you paying your bills on time? If you got a credit card and your due date's the 5th of every month, are you paying in full? Not in full, but are you paying the minimum payment at least consistently by the 5th every month? Or are you late? And when I say late, I don't mean a day. I mean 30 days or more. That's what's considered a late payment. If you have any type of credit bill that's due, either it be a mortgage or a auto loan, whatever the case may be, to be considered late, it has to be 30 days or more. Not a week, not 2 weeks. It has to be 30 days or more. Feel me? So don't let that one day late stress you. Feel me? But that makes up 35% of your score. So that makes it the majority right there. Boom. 30% is amounts owed. What the hell does that mean? Amounts owed is how much of the credit that you are given are you using, right? So if I give you a credit card for $1,000 and I see that you're using the full $1,000, that counts to 30% of what your score is, which is amounts owed. Because you got to look at it from the bank's perspective or FICO's perspective. Let's say I'm FICO and you're little Jimmy, right? I'm like, yo, little Jimmy, I'm going to give you a good FICO score. For me, you starting off, your family had good credit and they put you on their credit when you was young. So we're thinking the lineage is strong. So boom, we're going to give you good credit starting off, right? Oh, little Jimmy's like, oh yeah, bet. Where? I'm going to get my credit card. Boom. Little Jimmy go get his credit card, right? He get $1,000 credit card, right? I'm like, I bet, little Jimmy. I'm Mr. FICO. Do your thing, you are. Boom. Little Jimmy, he get the card first week, max it out. $1,000 spent. You feel me? He spent on his girl. You feel me? He want to take care of his lady. No disrespect. You got to take care of your lady, right? He spent that $1,000, right? Boom. Now, me, Mr. FICO, let's say I pull up like little Jimmy. Yo, let's see how little Jimmy doing, right? Damn, little Jimmy, I just gave you just got $1,000. You spent all of it already? I don't seem responsible, little Jimmy. I ain't gonna lie. I don't seem responsible at all. And you doing a minimum payment on it? Yeah, little Jimmy, we're gonna drop your score like 80 points. that's literally how it goes, yo. Now little Jimmy's tight. Little Jimmy like, yo, what the hell? I just had good credit, Mr. FICO. Why am I messed up now? Well, listen, little Jimmy, you went out there, you got the $1,000, but you spent the full $1,000 in a week. How am I supposed to know you're responsible if you're taking the money and spending it off the rip? You see what I'm saying? That's what FICO's doing right there. For me, your amounts owed is really important because people tend to forget about it. And there's numbers behind it. Like, historically, the general rule people like to say is that, hey, if you get a credit card, you shouldn't use more than 30% of it or have a balance more than 30% on that card. My opinion, you pay it in full every month because we're not using credit to be bougie, we're using it to make our make our consistent payments like groceries and little things like that consistent, and using it to get points. You feel what I'm saying? That's why we use credit. We don't use it to buy things that we can't afford to pay off in one sweep, or at least once a month. You feel what I'm saying? So that's 30% of your score right there. So think about this. Two pieces I spoke on, right? 35% and 30%. That's 65% of your score right there. So if you pay on time every month and pay your bill off in full every month, you're 65% done. That's it. It's not that complicated, yo. It's really not. And this you can automate with autopay. This is budgeting. You feel me? That's why I say credit is your adult report card. Cause this, well, I wouldn't say these three, but these two really stem off of responsibility and having your finances in order as an adult. You feel me? Now, don't get me wrong. Things happen. Life happens. Things are crazy. You feel me? But these two things, from the FICO's perspective, is saying, hey, how is your report card as an adult? These are what these two big things do. You feel what I'm saying? This is what they mean. All right, so boom. Payment history. Are you paying your bills on time? Amounts owed. Are you paying your balance in full, or are you maxing out the card? Boom. 15% is length of credit history. And this is where you get a little spoiled if you come from a family with good credit, or you're not spoiled if you don't have a family with no credit. You feel me? So length of credit history is essentially exactly that. How long have you had credit? Now, if you had credit for a short amount of time, that's going to negatively affect 15% of your score. Because Mr. FICO is looking at you, or they're looking at little Jimmy, and Mr. FICO like, damn, I ain't going to lie, little Jimmy. You paying on time every month, and you paying in full, little Jimmy. But I ain't going to lie, little Jimmy, you only started doing this like a month ago. So I got to see you do this consistently. You feel me? There been veterans out here. You feel me? I got starters, 5-star recruits that's been doing this for years, little Jimmy. You just got on the block. You got to prove yourself, little Jimmy. That's what FICO's saying. I swear to God, y'all, this shit like the block. Credit's like the block. I swear to God. You feel me? That's what length of credit history is, right? Now, when I was talking about the family piece, there is a thing called an authorized user, right? So authorized user is when, let's say, little Jimmy, he got an uncle, Uncle Craig. Oh, not Uncle Craig. I actually have an Uncle Craig. That's not his uncle. Shout out to Uncle Craig, man. He got an Uncle James, right? They got little Jimmy and Uncle James. Let's say Uncle James got mad credit history. He got credit cards from 30 years ago, right? And Uncle James, like, you know what, little Jimmy? You just got born, or you just turned 18, or whatever the case may be. I'm going to add you to my credit cards so you can build credit history. Little Jimmy don't know what the hell that means. He's like, all right, thank you, Uncle James, right? Now, Mr. FICO looks back at little Jimmy, his report. So, okay, little Jimmy. Damn, little Jimmy, it look like you've had credit for 7 years already. And FICO can see authorized users and all that. But they're going to see, hey, he's coming from a lineage of strong credit. That means responsibility transfers. You feel me? You probably have similar traits that Uncle James had. And Uncle James always pays his bill on time, pays it in full, and does that consistently for 30 years. So we're expecting little Jimmy to do the same because Uncle James put him on his credit card and pretty much stamped him. Pretty much said, yo, he good in this hood. That's what authorized user is. Somebody else adds you onto their account and you're getting the benefits of that history. So that's why I say if you got people with good credit, family, whatever the case may be, you're already ahead of the game because they could do that. If you're not, there's not much you could do here. You got to start from the bottom. Start from the bottom, now we're here. You see what I'm saying? There is other things you can do, like buying accounts and this, that, and the third, buying trade lines, but I ain't big on that. I don't really jack that, you feel me? And if you jack that, hey, that's you, bro. But I'm not a big fan of that, you feel me? Boom. That's credit history. It's 15%. So boom. That's 65% plus 15. That's 80% of your score right there. New credit is essentially a thing called hard inquiries, right? So, excuse me, hard inquiries is pretty much like a stamp every time that's put on your report when you apply for a credit product. For me, you know you got a passport and you get stamps for every country you go to in your passport. On your credit report, for every bank that you go and ask for money, they put in stamps. Now, the reason they do this is because FICO factors in a thing called damn, pretty much how hungry you are for credit. You know what I'm saying? So boom, I'll give you an analogy, right? We got little Jimmy, right? Little Jimmy, he talking to Mr. FICO, but Mr. FICO got a daughter, right? Miss Lil FICO, right? Lil FICO. Now Lil Jimmy, he feeling Lil FICO. For me, she valid. You are jacking Lil FICO, right? But what Lil FICO doing is seeing Lil Jimmy talking to mad other girls. Lil Jimmy got talking to Deborah, then Lil Jimmy talking to Susie. Lil Jimmy got goddamn Karen. Lil Jimmy goddamn got Kelly over here. Lil Jimmy out here wilding, playing the game. You feel me? But Lil FICO see that and she like, nah, Jimmy wilding. So Lil FICO go to Big FICO, and she like, yo, dad, I ain't gonna lie, Jimmy wilding. He out here talking to everybody under the sun. For me, this, you know what I'm saying, do it today. Mr. FICO say, oh yeah, drop his score 20 points. I swear to God, bro. Because hard inquiries are tracked on your report to see how thirsty you are for credit. If you going to every bank and applying for a card every month, you're fiending. And FICO is gonna negatively impact you for that because they thinking, yo, why you asking? Why you trying to get all this credit? It looks like you were desperate. And that means if you're desperate, then you need this money for something. If you need this money for something, that means your finance is most likely not in order. If your finance is most likely not in order, your score gonna get dropped because they can't trust you to pay back their bread. You get me? So boom. Long story short, don't be too thirsty. And we gonna get into it in the next series exactly how we can do that by using the proper banks, credit unions, etc. You feel me? We gonna get into that. But I really want to break down basics today. Word? So boom, new credit means you mad thirsty. And they gonna drop your score. That's gonna make up 10% of your score. They gonna drop it by a certain amount of points if you too thirsty. You feel me? Don't be thirsty out here. We gotta have some principles and morals. You feel me? Boom. 10% is credit mix. Now this one is okay. Big OG Mr. FICO, right? He like, yo, Lil Jimmy, you doing good with these credit cards. You got 2 credit cards. You pay on time every month, and you pay in full every month, and you've been doing that for 3 years with these credit cards. You doing good. And honestly, I haven't seen you apply to no other credit cards. So, hey, Lil Jimmy, you doing good. But damn, Lil Jimmy, you only got credit cards. You don't got no auto loan. You don't got no personal loan. You ain't got no lines of credit. So, little Jimmy, you want to get a mortgage, but I only know that you good with credit cards. How can I know that you're going to be good with this mortgage if I never seen you have one? That's credit mix right there. Feel me? How much different types of debt can you handle and still have the proper what's it called, the proper responsibility tactics that you use? Are you paying consistently on time, or are you paying in full on time? You see what I'm saying? That's what credit mix is. FICO is going to give you a bump in your score if they see Lil Jimmy got 2 credit cards and a student loan. Okay, and he's paying on time, he's paying in full, and he makes his payments on the loan. He's been doing that for 2 years consistently. Oh yeah, Lil Jimmy gonna have a bump in his score because Lil Jimmy is proven he can pay on time, he can pay in full for his credit cards, and he's been doing that consistently for 2 years, and he hasn't applied for many more products ever since he got these 3 products. So you know what? You got a good credit mix, Lil Jimmy, because you're proven you can handle different types of debt. You can handle loans, you can handle credit cards, you can handle lines of credit. If you can prove that, that's going to be an extra 10% bump on your score. You feel me? That's FICO broken down. This is literally credit right here. This little thing. That's credit. It's really that simple. This is what makes up your score. You feel me? And this is what the banks use. They do not use Credit Karma. They don't look at those scores. Those are different scores that most banks do not use. They look at this. They look at FICO. Now there's multiple different FICO scores. You know, you got FICO 8, FICO 9, FICO 10, FICO 10T. You got the old FICOs. There's so many FICO scores, but for now, just focus on the overall. This is what all those scores are made up of. Feel me? Boom. Let me start sharing my screen. Boom. Now, we broke down the algorithm. Now, Dior, where do I start? How do I properly build credit, right? And I'm going to give a snort little segment on this, but we're going to go off to the next. We'll explain more in the next episode, right? How you start with building credit is where you bank, where you give your money to, right? Because banks operate off a thing called fractional reserve lending. So for every dollar that you give the bank or a credit union, they have the opportunity to go loan out that money. That's fractional reserve lending. So that means the more money you give to an institution, either it be through your checking, your savings, CD accounts, whatever the case may be, the more they're going to have a relationship built with you. They see you giving us mad money, okay, we don't let you get this credit card even though your score is not the best. Feel me? It starts with relationship-based banking. But not with the big banks, not with the Chases, not with the cities. No, we're going to the credit union down the block. We're going to your local credit union. We got DCU in New England. I love DCU. Oh my God, I love them so much. You feel me? Those are my best friends. Those are my best friends right there. But you'll find your best friend down the block at your local credit union. Why? Because banks are meant to give profit to their shareholders. That's what their main mission is. And we all benefit from that. We're all in the stock market. Okay, we all got 401ks. We all benefit off of that. I bet you in each of our portfolios, you got a little bit of financial in there. And that means you probably got a little bit of JP Morgan shares or Citi shares or Bank of America shares. And you're reaping the benefits from that. You feel me? But you're not going to find a credit union on the stock market. And that's because credit unions are meant for the people, for the members of the credit union, not for shareholders. So that means when it comes to the relationships you build with them, they're going to be a lot more, okay, we got you like, rather than the big JP Morgans and the BOAs and all that. So it starts there by building a relationship with those small credit unions. And large credit unions too. Navy Federal, DCU is another good one. There's a lot of them. Apple Federal Credit Union, you know. It starts with building relationships there because those banks, those credit unions, yeah, they're going to look at your FICO score, but they're also going to look at how much money he's bringing in consistently. Oh, he's got a good amount. He's got about, what, 3-5 grand in his savings, and he has direct deposit with us. You know what? We're overlooked that 620 score. Give him the credit card. That's what these credit unions will do, because once you build that relationship by using their products and giving them your money, they're going to give you your respect by having more products available to you, even if your score is not the best. And as you build that relationship, you keep stacking on it and stacking on it. That's the real key to building strong credit, because now you can use more of their products to build out your profile to get to the big Chases, BOAs, all that, right? Now, this is the first part of a 3-part series. If you want to have access to an AI tool that answers all of your questions regarding credit, everything, so that way you don't got to wait for me to post something on YouTube, check out the Discord, man, and I'll show y'all right here, man. This Discord was created to do everything finances, either it be credit, real estate. We focus mostly on stocks, but we do everything. We create content specifically for our Discord. So boom, I'll show y'all real quick. It's the Discord. We give our stock room plays right here. Feel me? This is my guy Mike running the Think and Gen Wealth account. Look at that, 20% on stock market plays. He goes live every day. Look, another play, another live. Look, sold contracts for profit, 2 Comcast profit. Look, 30% here. And then we could go to the profit room. We can see the crazy stuff. Look, 179%. Look at this. What's this? I don't even know. 107% SPX. 80%. Feel me? Don't get it in mind. Look, 86% here. We give out banyas, y'all. We mostly, look, 60% year to date. This is a small account. This is my small account. You feel me? Listen, We give out consistent plays. We do everything. We do day trading, swing trading, leap trading, whatever you want. We can do it, but we don't just give you the game. We don't just give you the play. We teach you the game. We do everything. We create weekly videos. We do a live in the chat. We trade together so y'all can see live trading. And like I said, we have AI bots for real estate. We have AI bots for credit and the stock market, specifically in this chat to help you do your journey of financing. You feel me? So, hey, y'all let me know if it's worth it. It's $20 a month to join. If you want to do that, click the link in the bio or the description. If you're watching this from the Discord, you got free access before anyone else did. Hey, more power to you. Congratulations. Another segment of the series is going to be coming real soon after the holidays. But in the meantime, enjoy yourselves. It's D-War. I'm out of here.